Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today for Webinar Wednesday. Our topic that we will be covering is navigating your online account. I'm sure you may have had questions in the past on how to find something within your account, such as an invoice or an order. Possibly you may have not known that a feature that we have existed on the website. So we are here today to clear some of that up for you. I'd like to remind everybody that your cameras and microphones are all turned off to hopefully keep things running smoothly. If you do have any questions or comments that you want to throw out there, you can just put them in the chat and we will try to answer them at the end, if not during the session today. I want to also make you aware that this training is being recorded and will be posted online for future viewing. My name is Chris Coletta. I'm an e-commerce specialist here at Schaedler Yesco, and I work closely with Brent Fry, who is the pricing and content specialist. And so I'm going to turn things over to Brent to kick things off. Welcome, Brent. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And thank you, everybody, for joining us here this afternoon. Hopefully you get something out of this that you didn't know before. We appreciate you taking your time out of your day for this. I'm going to get things started just by signing into your account. There's lots of benefits to having your own account besides what we're going to show you today. But one of the biggest ones is that you're going to be able to see your own pricing, your customer account's specific pricing. But when you go to the sign-in screen, you're going to see your email address and your password that you want to log in with. You could change your, or you could, if you forgot your password, you could click on this and send yourself an email and get that process started to get your password. But otherwise, just come in here and sign in, and you will be logged into your own account. First thing we're going to go to is back at the top to the account settings page. And this page is just going to show you a lot of your basic information. It's going to show your email again, your full names there. Another place you could come in here and change your password. If you feel it's time to update your password, you could go ahead and click on change, and a pop-up window will come up, and you could enter your current password and then what you want your new password to become. Back to the account settings page, manage subscriptions. Just click subscribe if you'd like to hear communications or receive communications from Schaedler Yesco via your email. Default billing and shipping, pretty self-explanatory. You can use the default addresses here. May save yourself some time throughout the checkout process. You don't have to use default addresses. You could click do not use defaults. But if you do use default addresses, this is where you would set those up. Most of you only have one billing address. There may be some customers on here that have multiple billing addresses, but usually you just have one. Shipping address is a little bit different. You may have multiple shipping addresses, and you could choose here where you want your products shipped to. You could change that shipping address, or you could select a pickup address. And the pickup location rather, and that's a Schaedler Yesco location. And Chris currently has his set to Columbiana, but say he's going to be doing some work out of a different area, he could select a Schaedler Yesco location that's going to be the most convenient for him. So that's where you would do that. The recipient address is for when someone's coming to pick up the material at a Schaedler Yesco location. That's basically just to verify where they're coming from. But that's pretty much the account settings page. So again, you can set up some defaults, may save you some time in the checkout process. Next page we're going to go to is the addresses page. Basically, this is going to just show you your billing, current billing and shipping information. If you have multiple shipping addresses, they will appear here under the address book, and you could change which shipping address you want to use on this page by going to the far right and clicking on use as shipping address, and that'll change that. If you do have any billing, a bill to change, if your address has changed, say your company has moved, all those changes like that need to go through our credit department, because that's a pretty big change when your address needs updated. So we prefer those to go not through the website, but actually through our credit department. And you can just do that by clicking on that email link there and just start that conversation with our credit department. Next page we're going to check out under my account is change customer. And again, a lot of you are only going to have one bill to. So you probably wouldn't use this top section very often. Chris only has one bill to, so he has a lot of bill tos in there because he does testing, but as far as a customer account, he really only has one bill to. Here you could change your pickup location again. He has his set to Columbiana because that's the closest Shadler Yesco location to where he is, but you could change it here. Under fulfillment up above, he could change the ship. And that's down below, select ship to. You could either use your shipping address or your billing address, or he could select one of his ship to addresses. So that's what you can do on this page. Back up to the account section. Going to go to account inquiry. And this page is really neat. You want to start out by hitting the filter icon, that little button there. And then all these fields will pop up and you can fill these in as you wish. You can select a ship to. If you have multiple ship tos, you could leave it on show all and it'll pull from all your ship tos. You could use your billing address. You can set a date range and it'll look up any information within that date range. We're going to just show a screenshot of this page because under Chris's account, we really don't have good information to show you. So we're just going to show you a sample account here. But this is what you'll see on this account page typically. It's going to show you what's coming due, what's past due, your credit terms, what your credit limit is for your company, what's available, when your last purchase was, so on and so forth. And down at the bottom, you can actually drill into individual invoices and see what's in each of those. So it's a really neat screen, very helpful to show you a good overview of your account. And we think you'll find that very useful. And that's it for the account inquiry page. I'm actually going to turn things back over to Chris, and Chris is going to go over lists, order history, different payment methods you can set up, saved carts, and the importance of signing out. So with that, take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that. So we have covered my list previously in a webinar a while back. There has been a couple additions. And one addition is the recently purchased. This is an auto-generated list. And what this covers is we have it set to 90 days. So any purchases that you made within the last 90 days will be auto-generated and created a list for you. This is done because we think possibly these may be popular items that you have, and you could automatically go into this list and pick those out and add to another list or order that whole list again, what have you. So then we have also private lists. These are lists that you create on your own. So I could run through that real quick. I'm just going to give you an overview of lists. There's a lot that you could do in here, but you could, again, refer back to our previous webinar. So in creating a list, you give this list a name. So we're going to give it, oops, if I learned how to type, we're going to give it list-5, and you can add a description. You can select a branch that is closest to you, and then you hit create list. And then after this loads, I'll be able to show you. It's taken a minute because I have other lists in here. You could go into this list and then you can add items to this list. So I will go in and I have a product in my mind that I want, just a simple battery, EN92. And this also goes off of our search, our new search that we've covered in the last webinar, but you should be able to find products pretty easily. So you could add the quantity and unit of measure. So we're going to add this item to the list, and it will show up. You can also upload items from a spreadsheet. Again, we've covered that in the previous webinar. You can load those. You have a list of items in a spreadsheet. You can load them right into here and they'll show up. So while I'm in this list, you could add notes to it. You can edit this list. So you could change the name of it. So you think you want to name it something else. You could give it a description. You could select a branch and then save it. And now those changes will change in your list. You could share this list. You could, if you know the person's email address you want it to send to, you could just go ahead and put that in here and it'll send them an email with an updated list. Also, if you want to print this list, it'll show up in a normal print mode with all the items in your list and then all your printing settings, and then you just print it. And then you could schedule a reminder, which I've also covered in the last week. We covered in the last webinar. You could have this remind you. It'll show up via email to remind you that you need to take action on this list, where you need to order it or what have you. So you can add this whole list to the cart up here, or you can add each individual item to the cart. You could delete an item, etc. So this pretty much covers lists. Pretty simple, but I do know from the last expo over in Hershey that we had in the East that we had customers didn't even know that this existed on our website. And we're very happy to find out that it did. So I think it's worth reminding our customers again that it does exist. So further ahead here, we're going to move into order history. Order history is a little similar to account inquiry, but different at the same time. You're going to get a little more information on your account within order inquiry. This is more specific to actual orders, invoices, etc. So you could filter by clicking this button here, and you could filter by PO number, order number, date range. So this is my account. So you're going to see some things maybe that I ordered, which that's okay. So you could filter by date range, and as you can see, by filtering by the date range, I brought up these items. But you could also filter by order total. So if you want to use greater than, say, amount $5, so anything over $5 will show up. Anything less than $5, if you hit that, or equal to, you could sort that way, or you could sort by your ship to. You could use your same billing address, or if you had orders going to a different address, then different ship to address, then those will show up. Status is your bid status, invoice, canceled orders, or an actual order. So you can also filter by those different statuses as well. And here you could go into each invoice and find out what is in there. You could actually reorder that whole invoice. Say you had a previous invoice that you want to copy, you could just go in and reorder that invoice, and it's as simple as that. Then you could also clear out the filters and then run a new filter.
Chris, I just want to jump in
Sure.
here and give a tip to our customers. If your company purchases a lot and does a lot of business with Schaedler Yesco, one tip I can give you is to narrow your date range. If you have a huge date range, it's going to obviously pull everything within that date range. And it's nothing you're doing wrong, but the site's going to churn a little bit and take a little bit longer to return all that data. So if there's any way possible that you know, hey, this was something I'm looking for that we did back in March of 2024, narrow that date range down to just show March items, and you'll get a much quicker response from the site.
Thanks, Brent. That was a great call out, because anything that you do in this site, if there is, or any site for that matter, if there is a lot of data that you're pulling, it is going to take a little longer to get that data to show up on the website, whether if it's products or invoices, orders, etc. And that's any website you're on. So that we're just making you aware of that. So if it does take longer, that just be patient. And then moving from there, from order history, we want to move on to payment methods. Payment methods is great. Adding different payment methods, because if, say, you have credit through your SYD account and you don't want to use that, you can add a credit card. Or if you just don't want to apply for credit, that's fine too, and you just want to use your credit card, that's also apply through credit with Schaedler Yesco. That's also a great way to do things if you choose to. So you can add a card, and this is pretty simple. It's just like everything else. You can set a nickname for the card number. This is all typical of when you use a credit card on a website. So if you just go through all of these different options, fill it out, and then hit save, that will save the card. And you could also save multiple cards. And then you could set one as a default once you have it in here, or whatever. You could choose a different one. So there's that option as well, which is kind of nice. Now, we're going to move on here to saved carts. Saved carts is a different animal. It's nice because if you do get into a hurry and you have items in your cart, you can save it and it will be there for you. I don't know who the silly person was that added a $33,000 amount to a saved cart to me, but that's kind of funny. That shouldn't be in there. I don't want to hit submit for the order for that one. So we'll go to the $209 one. When you click on that, items will appear here. And once you're inside of that saved cart, there they are. You can see your shipping address, your billing address, all the items within the cart. And you can also add each item. Say you wanted to add this to a list. You can go ahead and you could create a list, or you can go ahead and add to a existing list. So that's nice. You can do that. And also there's other options up here. You can add all the products to a list instead of individually. You could print a list, or you could print a saved cart. My apologies. You could print a saved cart, add to a list, and then you could place this whole saved cart to, you could place the order. So that's all nice to have as well. Now, I want to move on to signing out and the importance of it. I save out of my account all the time because if somebody hops on my computer and they want to order electrical parts, or say somebody in your company wants to hop on and they're using your save settings, if you're just signed in, they're going to go ahead and do that. Or if you work with customers, they can go ahead and hop on here. There is fraudulent activity that does happen, believe it or not. So it's just best just to sign out of your account, just to be on the safe side for a bunch of different reasons. Now I just pretty much want to cover also something that I don't know if everybody is aware of this. I'm going to sign back into my account, and you can also just click up here and get this information instead of just coming to this drop down. I don't know, this might make it easier to navigate your account. So all you got to do is click on the welcome. For me, it's welcome, Chris. Just click on that and you can see your save lists, recent orders, and then you can add a list to a cart straight from there. So that pretty much covers it. I don't know, Brent, do you see any questions that anybody has?
I don't see anything in the chat yet. Someone is typing though. We do. Oh, go ahead. Yep. One thing I wanted to point out earlier is if you ever run into anything, like if you're creating a list and you get stumped on how to finish it off or what to do next, you certainly may contact us at any time. We're available all the time. You can just send us an email and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So we do have one message in the chat. Joe sent in. He's needed. Okay, Joe. I apologize that there's an issue with your online account. We can certainly look into that. And we will contact you outside of this meeting as soon as we get done here. Definitely want to help you fix whatever's going on with that. That would be great to get you set up and get it working properly. So we will definitely reach out to you, Joe. Thanks for the input.
No other questions?
Doesn't appear so.
Okay. Thanks, Brent. If in closing, if anybody does have any questions outside of this, and you don't get to the chat, maybe think of them later, please go ahead and you can email us, contact us at webmaster@sydist.com. We'll be glad to answer any of your questions. In closing today, I want to thank all of you for joining us. We hope you found this session very valuable and insightful. And one last thing, we appreciate your time and participation. If you're not aware, but I want to make you aware that we do have the Expo West coming up at Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That'll be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on September 18th. Brett and I will be there at the e-commerce booth, plus lots of other booths will be there joining us. We'd love to see you there and chat with you. Outside of that, that's really all we have. We look forward to talking to you in the future and possibly seeing you at the Expo West in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.